So it's come to my attention that a lot of you guys honestly believe that Islam has surpassed Khabib's resume and his legacy that Khabib left inside of the octagon. You guys are absolutely wrong. First of all, Khabib's resume is 29-0. Islam's is 27-1. So just off of that, Khabib is better. You take the person who is undefeated over the person who lost. Now, Islam's only lost in the UFC. He got knocked the fuck out by a dude named Adriano Martins, okay? This guy's not even in the UFC anymore. He is still an active fighter, but his record over his last 4 fights is 1-4. Is 1-4. Islam, you got knocked out by a literal bum. That's number 1. Number 2, if you compare their title reigns, Khabib's title reign to Islam's title reign, Khabib had the way better title reign. Let's be for real. His first title defense, Conor McGregor. One of the biggest fights ever in UFC history. That's a fact. Islam, your first title defense was against Volkanovski for the first time, and arguably he whooped your ass. He whooped your ass. Do you see the picture of Islam's face? Volk beat you. That's your first. So if we just compare off of the first title defenses, Khabib's first title defense is one of the biggest gates in pay-per-view sales ever in the company. Ever. One of the most talked about UFC moments in my lifetime. Islam, your first title defense was against Volkanovski, a 45er who's super small at 45. He's one of the smaller fighters at 45, and he whooped your ass. Fight ended with you on your back, curling up into a ball, and Volkanovski ground and pounding you. Okay? You went into that post-fight press conference with 2 raccoon eyes, swollen face, you had cuts all over you. You look like you were just thrown out of a moving vehicle. Okay? Let's be real. Your second title defense, Islam, was Volkanovski off a short notice because Charles Oliveira canceled his fight because he had a cut over his eye. So they called Volkan on short notice. Alright, cool. I'm not going to take anything away from that. A win is a win. It is on short notice, though. So there's a huge asterisk to that. Alright? And honestly, you and Volk are 1-1. So we need the trilogy fight. Okay? Cool. Khabib's second fight while having the belt was Dustin Poirier in 2019, and Dustin Poirier got choked out in the 3rd round. When Islam fought Dustin Poirier, it was about 6 years later, okay? And Islam took Dustin to the very last round. Islam had a huge gash on his face from Dustin. We have never seen Khabib bleed in the octagon. We only saw Khabib lose 1 round, and that was against Conor. Arguably. Super arguably. We saw Khabib lose 1 round. Islam, we've literally seen you laid out on your back against Volk. We've seen you get knocked the fuck out by a can. Okay, cool. Your guys' common opponent, while you guys were both champions, Dustin Poirier. Khabib fought a prime Dustin Poirier and finished him earlier. You fought a 35-year-old Dustin Poirier and took him to the very last round. Okay. Another point. If you guys think that Islam is so much better than Khabib, and Islam has surpassed Khabib in so many different ways, why is Khabib still the head coach? Make that make sense to me. If you have the better fighter in the room, you would be looking at him for advice. Right? But no, people still go to Khabib because they know that Khabib is the more dominant fighter. There has never been a fight on Khabib's resume that was a toss-up. Oh, well, we don't really know. That one could have went either way. All of Khabib's fights were extremely dominant. They were. Now, you guys have the same issue. Khabib and Islam, you guys are not active. You guys are fighting 1 time a year. Islam, you fought once in 2025, once in 2024, twice in 2023, but it doesn't count because you fought the same dude twice. Once in 2020. Oh, no. Twice in 2022. I'm so sorry. But, like, come on, bro. Khabib, you fought once in 2020, once in 2019, once in 28, like, twice in 2018. Like, both of these guys are not active. So, that's a wash. You know, I'm not going to bring up Khabib's a little bit more active. You're a little bit more active. No. But the one thing that Islam has over Khabib is his striking. Islam does have way better striking than Khabib, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Your striking is not more dominant than Khabib's wrestling. Khabib's wrestling and cage holding and taking the back is way more scarier and dominant than whatever striking head kick combinations you learn from watching Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. Islam, you know? But another thing that Islam does have over Khabib is the 35 different canceled fights that Khabib has. Dude has 8 different Tony Ferguson canceled bouts. Okay? That's just one thing. But I'm not taking anything from that, because if you guys thought that prime Tony Ferguson was going to beat prime Khabib, you need to go check yourself into a mental facility. Immediately. Okay? Now, Islam, you have ran away from your biggest payday in the company's history. You were a belt holder. You were a title holder. You were a championship holder at 155. When you hold a championship, you then get pay-per-view percentage points. You get a slice of the pie. Ilya versus Islam would have been as big as Khabib versus Conor. That's a fact. The sport has grown. We have a way bigger audience than we did before when it was Conor versus Khabib. Okay? But this would have been better. It would have been a way bigger pay-per-view sale. Gate would have been way more money than the live gate that they had for Conor versus Khabib. And you turned it down to go fight JDM. Dude whose last 3 opponents are Bilal Muhammad, Kevin Holland, and Gilbert Burns. JDM is untested. He's untested. Absolutely untested. Islam, what are you doing? Ilya is coming off of knocking out 2 legends. He knocked out Volk on a full camp. Look what happened to you when you fought Volk on a full camp. Volk is smaller than Tuporia. Tuporia is an okay size for 55. You're not fighting a midget. You just want to move up and run away from a fight. Now, I cannot say we've never seen Khabib run away from a fight. There's 10 canceled Tony Ferguson bouts. But I don't think he was running away from them. I don't. Why are all the Dagestani fighters not active? Why? I wish somebody can explain that to me. That's one of my biggest issues with Islam. That's a fact. Dude is not active. Oh, they gave me a short notice fight. Oh, I'll see you guys next year. Be for real, bro. You're supposed to be pound for pound number 1? Get a fucking grip. I'm out of here.